welcome to this month's song breakdown, and this month we sort of asked you to decide which song you wanted, and you asked for Rotten Teeth. So here goes, we're going to break down Rotten Teeth, the first song we ever wrote. And if you've seen one of these videos before, you'll know that I do it in two sections. I talk about the themes, and then I talk about the evolution of the song. So without further ado, let's go on to the themes. Okay, so I think this may be something that I've said before, because like when we first started the band, we'd get asked about this song a lot, obviously, because it was the first song we wrote, and I'll get onto that again later. And so this particular story of where the origin of the song comes from, I've told quite a few times. I may have even told it to some of you, but let's pretend that none of you have heard this story before, and I will talk about it. So here we go, story time.
I'm ready!
So picture it, it is 15th of January 1919, we're in Boston, and it's morning, and it's been a very cold night, and then it's been a very suddenly hot morning, and in the harbours around Boston they used to store these very, very large tanks of molasses. Now if you don't know what molasses is, it's a byproduct of refining sugar, and it's like thick and syrupy kind of stuff, very sweet obviously, and you can use it to make bootstrap rum.
Hail, ho, ho, and a bottle of rum.
So anyway, there's these big tanks of this stuff, and I guess they were waiting to make some rum out of it.
Why is the rum always gone?
And very cold night, very, very hot morning all of a sudden, and that led to a shift in the pressure within these tanks, and they obviously weren't secure enough, so boom, the tanks exploded, and there's this huge flood of this molasses through the centre of Boston, and like literally a tidal wave like went through the town, caused absolute chaos. Obviously 150 people were injured, 21 people died actually drowning in this sugary stuff, and the old timers say that to this day you can still smell a very sweet scent in the air on a hot day. I guess it was something that captured my imagination when I first read about it. But there is another aspect to this. This song, Rotten Teeth, is directly linked to our band name, Morass Of Molasses, because when I was reading about this event and I guess being inspired to write some lyrics and write a song about it, I also happened to see a newspaper headline on one of the newspapers for the next day, and it said Morass Of Molasses, and I was like, that's a really cool band name. And then it just, ever since then, that's been our band name. So Rotten Teeth and our band name, and you could argue our band in completion, all began at the same point, really. So there you go. Hope that explains the themes. Now I guess we'll get on to the evolution. So the evolution of the song. Okay, now normally speaking in these other videos I've gone back and been able to find like old phone recordings and stuff like that I did. But this is so far back, like literally at the beginning, that I don't think I'd even started really doing that, or at least not regularly in rehearsals, because we weren't even really a band yet. So I guess I just kind of need to talk about those very early stages of the band. And again, some of you may have heard this before, but for those that haven't, so at this particular time I had just finished being in a band called Carnate, and if you're interested in hearing what that sounds like, I'll put a link up there to that band. And it kind of, you know, was quite a different band in some respects, but also shared some characteristics, I guess, with Morass Of Molasses. And at this particular time, that band had just finished, and I was promoting a gig and doing sound at the Face Bar in Reading, which is my job. And then two guys came up to me, long-haired, tall guys. One was Phil, another guy was called Chris, and obviously they went on to become the original members of Morass Of Molasses with me. I didn't know that at the time. They just came up and they said to me, like, "All right, mates, how's it going?" And I was like, "Cool." And they were like, basically, we chatted and we sort of had the idea of maybe having a jam, you know, getting together. And it was all, I remember being quite like, you know, if it's shit, we'll just say it's shit and not bother kind of thing. And we organised a rehearsal, didn't really think much about it. I guess I went in with the idea that I wanted to do something different, because you always do as a musician, right? just started jamming. And at this time it was 2 guitars. Although I've always kind of played a guitar with heavier strings on it, and quite often play through bass amps because it just became a bit of a thing, which I actually came up with in the previous band, Carnate. And so we just started jamming, and I mean, I've been in quite a few bands over the years, but I knew straight away there was some chemistry there, and like, because we were just improvising stuff, and it all kind of went together really well, and we jammed, and it felt good, and we were all sort of looking at each other going, oh, actually this is pretty fucking cool. And then we even started to jam some ideas which actually ended up becoming Rotten Teeth. Obviously they sounded very different. I wish I had the recordings for you, but I don't think they exist anymore, if they ever did exist, because I'm not sure they ever did. But yeah, and then initially we were sort of thought about, or at least the other guy suggested, do we need to get some other members in, you know, because it was just 3 of us. And you know, at that time, which is weird to even think about this, I wasn't necessarily the singer. We were just 3 guys jamming, and so and at the time it was, I guess, maybe the other guys viewed the thing in a slightly more traditional way, and we were talked about getting a bass player and getting a singer. And I remember thinking to myself that we had this good chemistry. There was something there, and I was afraid to fuck with it. I was afraid that if we brought other people in, it would change, that like the magic would just go. And so I was like, well, let's just do it all ourselves. And how are we going to do the bass? Oh, well, I can kind of do it on this, and you know, and play around with some pedals, play around with different amps. And who's going to sing? Well, I've sung backing before, I can try it, you know. And it was a bit sort of like that, which is crazy to think about it, that it was quite blasé. And then we just started writing stuff. And I guess I was very conscious of putting everything that I'd learned in bands previously into this new band, and like all the mistakes I'd made in the past in bands, I wanted to make sure that I didn't make them here. And I was I knew that I wanted, when this band was launched, I didn't want it to sort of just gradually come out. I wanted it to hit hard. And so we worked quite hard just on that one song, Rotten Teeth. Did a proper like recording of it in White House Studios again. You know, worked with a producer for our first song. And I mean, I remember the day that the band officially, I guess, launched. It was like I'd sort of pulled in a lot of favours and things like that from my promoting background, and managed to like get Rotten Teeth played on BBC Introducing Radio.
BBC Introducing Berkshire.
New and unsigned music with Linda Serg.
This is Morass of Molasses on BBC Introducing Berkshire. This is the world premiere of Rotten Teeth.
We got a feature in the Reading Post, and we played the BBC Introducing night at the Oakford in the middle of Reading, and that all happened all at once. And so we kind of went from like being nothing, nobody knowing who we are, to suddenly people be going, what's this, suddenly this new band kind of thing. And that meant that those early shows were really busy, and that helped to propel us into the next stage, which was when we went into Metal to the Masses and things. But that's another story for another day. All of this is all kind of, it's very difficult to separate up Rotten Teeth from the beginning of the band. It kind of, for me, is almost emblematic of the very beginning of the band. And you know, it kind of, and it went through a couple of changes. Like I can play a bit for you for the from the start of the music video that went with it. So you can see that came in the sort of a soft way at the start of it, and that is because that is the way that it was released originally as a single. And then when we came to actually release the full EP of all the songs, we actually like played around with the arrangement a little bit more, and actually put the sort of big riff that comes in just at the end on that version, we put that at the start as well. So the song actually did evolve, I guess, in that way, and that is a little way to show that there. So yeah, cool. I think that's it really. So hope you enjoyed looking back into Rotten Teeth. Obviously it's been a bit different because this song is a bit different. This song is about how the band started, and so you can't really ever separate that up from it. And I think it's probably going to be a song we're always going to play because it's one of our favourite tracks. Like everybody always like asks for us to play it live, and you know, it's a good song, and it's crazy to think that it was the first thing we ever wrote together. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next month. Bye.